Así que
Yes. Anyway, so with that we begin, and my highest namaskars to all of you. I missed you all.
we also missed you.
Yeah. And but all of a sudden Shuddha was thrown into an environment of family and weddings, and two nephews got married. Shuddha's Nima's nephews, one got married to a lady from Nairobi, and one got married to a lady from Burgos, Spain. So both lovely people, you know. And I was introduced to an entire family of many generations living in Burgos. Beautiful family, and the young lady's mother, father, and grandparents from all sides, both sides, and uncles and aunts and everybody. And I think Patricia was able to speak to one of the young lady, Blanca.
Ana,
Blanca, yeah.
Bianca.
Blanca, yeah. And the Spanish families, in Burgos, for the first time they saw so many Indian ladies in saris, all of Nima's side, sister's side, and there were about 20 Indian ladies who dressed in saris, colorful saris, walking in the old streets of Burgos. So, the two cultures meeting through nimitz, and so it is just nimitz, these are all planned in the last life, and it happens in this life, you see.
Bueno, primero que nos dan los más elevados namaskaras todos, y que bueno que estuvo en 2 bodas de 2 sobrinos nietos de Ninda, la esposa de Shuddha. Uno de sus sobrinos se casó con una mujer de Nairobi y el otro con una de Burgos. Y bueno, estuvo casi todo el tiempo rodeado de las familias y muchas generaciones de familias que vivían en Burgos de ambas partes de los novios. Y que fue muy lindo. Yo tuve la posibilidad de hablar con la novia de Burgos, estaba toda la familia, ¿no? Y todas las hermanas y la familia de Ninda eran como 20, todas vestidas en saris, encontrándose con otra cultura, con esta cultura de Burgos y caminando por la calle, y estos encuentros culturales siendo nimitz.
Yeah, but you see, so it's interesting how human beings adjust. So the weddings from both sides were, it's a Catholic family and an Indian Hindu family wedding, but they just placed for Hindu family. Everybody got introduced to Ganesh. All of you know Ganesh, the Lord with the elephant trunk, and but he represents the removal of all our vignas. Vignas means obstructions, vignas, and so the vignas, wherever Ganesh is worshipped, and Ganesh is worshipped in all Hindu, all Indian ceremonies, everywhere in the world. First thing that you worship place is a Ganesh, you see, Ganesh. And we have the Ganesh as we end directly in front of Vatsalya. That was the first murti, the first idol that was placed in Simandar city by Niruma, the first one, and then everything began.
Wow. Ayuda le cuenta, ¿no? Como que le llama la atención, o como observa como la gente de las dos culturas, la católica y la india, se ajustan, se adaptan, y las familias de India pusieron a Ganesha, rindieron alabanzas a Ganesha, que es el que remueve todas las obstrucciones. De hecho, en todas las culturas en India se adora a Ganesha por esto, de remover las obstrucciones, y eso fue lo primero que hizo Niruma en Simandar City.
Yeah.
El primer murti fue el de Ganesha, que es el del elefante, ¿no? Sí, el elefante. la trompa de elefante.
From the Himalayas all the way to the bottom of India, where the Kanyakumari is the tip of India, the southern tip of India. You see Kanyakumari, and the Himalayas you already know. From Himalayas to Kanyakumari, everywhere, east, north, east, in the land of India for ever since the history of India is there, the Lord Ganesh has been worshipped, you see, as a remover of all obstructions. And we do it in Akram Vignan through our three mantra, the three mantra, Ours is very special. Ours is after becoming enlightened, but this is for everyone, Ganesh.
Desde los Himalayas hasta el sur, hasta Kamayari, todos alaban a Ganesha. Nosotros también con el Trimantra, incluso los iluminados también, alaban a Ganesha.
Yeah, you see, and from, and so the Catholic, very traditional Catholic people in Burgos, which is a very ancient city, between Madrid and the north of Spain, right there, right in the middle of nowhere. Beautiful city, all stones, everything, a very ancient city. There is a cathedral there, which is, in the 12th century, huge cathedral of the Lord, a very big cathedral of the Lord, and, so very traditional Catholic people, and they too, Blanca's uncle did a very simple, there was no priest, there was no padre, Blanca's uncle did the ceremony, and blessed them, and we placed the Ganesh, you see, so, make the adjustments. The important thing that human beings have to realize that you bypass traditions, and in the presence of the company of the guests in whom the Lord exists, you see, the Lord, the blessing happens. So in all weddings, all the people who are present, they always come with the best blessings inside their heart. Everybody forgets the differences, everybody just kind of blesses the one who is getting married, you see. But unfortunately afterwards they forget, oh, she is wearing this dress and he is wearing this, and oh, he did this and I'm not going to invite this, and all those kind of stuff. You see, the rag dvesh starts, but there are moments even in the relative life when very beautiful things happen, you see. When the purists come together, the bride wears white, in your traditions, which is supposed to signify purity. Blanca is purity, and so, when they meet, when the young man and woman meet, they are meeting essentially with the best of intentions to have a very beautiful life together. And they do not know that it is not their problem that the conflicts start, It is not their problem that the conflict starts. It is an internal thing, from last life. If only they knew it, it would be so beautiful. Life would be so beautiful,
Yes. Estuve en una ciudad antigua, Burgos es una ciudad muy antigua, y la ceremonia se hizo en una hermosa catedral, una gran catedral de piedras del siglo XII, ¿no? Es una familia muy tradicional, y de hecho los casó el tío. La ceremonia fue ahí, y de la familia del novio hizo la presentación de Ganesha, y todas las personas que estaban ahí van con todas las bendiciones desde el corazón para que esta pareja sea feliz, ¿no? Y todo lo que hacen es con las mejores intenciones, ¿no? Los novios se casan, y son las mejores intenciones. Después empiezan a surgir las cosas, bueno, ella hizo esto, aquello, ¿no? El apego, la aversión. Pero sí, en el momento de la boda, del casamiento, las intenciones son las mejores. Y la verdad que sería maravilloso que todos pudieran saber que estas son efectos de vidas pasadas, ¿no? Cuando los problemas surgen, sería maravilloso.
Yeah, the wedding did not happen in the cathedral, by the way. They would not allow anything like this. But, but the wedding happened, like Blanca's fathers and the family, they have been there for at least 4 generations, and they have they established a private club, helping everybody. And in the grounds, the natural grounds, underneath the trees and the gardens, that is where in that private club, the wedding happened, So, but so it was a nice, beautiful open air wedding in the gardens, where the ceremony happened, you see, not in the church, no.
Ok. Dice, me equivoqué yo, la boda no sucedió en la catedral, sí había una catedral hermosa, y la familia de la novia está allí por más de 4 generaciones. Ellos se ocuparon mucho de ayudar a las personas y tienen como un club privado con hermosos jardines. Y en estos hermosos jardines se realizó la boda.
If any one of you ever go to Spain, from Madrid, it's only a 2-hour drive up north, you see, but it's a beautiful little town, a city called Burgos, very quiet, lot of tourists, beautiful places to eat, but the main thing is the cathedral, the huge, huge cathedral. That's why they go there. and there was an old movie of Charlton Heston and Sophia Loren. I think all of you, El Cid, called, whatever that movie was of Lord Christ, it was filmed in Burgos, Charlton Heston. I don't know whether some of you know that actor, and so,
Yes, yes.
yeah, yeah.
Dice que Burgos es una ciudad maravillosa, está solo 2 horas de Madrid, es un lugar muy silencioso que tiene muchos lugares muy lindos, hay mucho turismo, lindos lugares para comer, pero lo más importante es la catedral. Y de hecho allí se filmó una película sobre Jesús donde trabajaban los actores, eran Charlton Heston y Sophia Loren.
Yeah. Anyway, so this, I think Anila would remember that. She's smiling when she hears about Charlton Heston, the handsome Charlton Heston, and Sophia Loren. Like all these memories go back, but we are the pure, each one who gathered together, each one of us are the pure knowers of all of this that happens in front of us, you see. Pure knowers, we can look back at our times as we look at these ceremonies. Of course, Shuddha's presence must be for, giving them this book that I just gave you. Some of them I told them, everybody, they talk to them about, yes, you know Spanish? I said, no, I don't know Spanish, but I've been speaking to Spanish people for many years in Argentina, Chile, and, so, maybe through Shuddha's eyes, they will, get these energies, they will, Nima, Shuddha, they were the only awakened ones there, Everybody else was involved and, enjoy.
Nosotros ahora somos los puros conocedores de todo esto que sucede. Podemos mirar para atrás, ¿no? En este recuerdo que la veía Nila diciendo, sí, como que lo conocía a Charlton Heston. Y bueno, Shuddha le dejó libros sobre todo esto y entonces le llamaba la atención, si bien no podía hablar castellano, pero bueno, había cosas que las entendía y todo, y le preguntaban cómo era esto. Y dice, bueno, llevo muchos años hablando con español, con personas de todo el mundo. Y así a través de sus ojos recibieron la bendición de Shuddha y de Nima.
So Vishuddhatma Bhagavan, this, give you a summary of what is coming up in our October Dadavani, which is on Pragnya. And I'll just give you a summary of it. Is the whole Dadavani of October, which I will share with you soon, coming up, on the topic of Pragnya, is there, Pragnya. You see, we have a whole big, Shuddha has a whole book in English that Shuddha didn't do, I've just extracted it from Aptavani 13 and made it a special book called Pragnya. I will share you the details about that book soon on the English link. But the important thing is that now we are getting the word Pragnya, which is, the representative of the Lord Absoluto, the Lord Eternal, Amapura. You see, the Lord that we are. But in our relative interactions, we have a representative, we have just like the Lord sits on his throne and he sends his representatives out, minister, you're my ambassador to this country, you're my ambassador to this country, like in this. So the Pragnya is the supreme ambassador, representative of the Lord that the Lord that exists within each one of us. You see, that Lord, the energy of that Lord, and that representative, Pratinidhi, not the real one, not the real Lord, but my full power representation. I give you my full power to represent me on behalf of me. You see, that is called Pragnya. You see.
Ahora nos va a estar pasando el Dadavani de octubre, que lo va a estar compartiendo, que habla sobre Pragnya. Es todo un libro y Shuddha lo extrajo del Dadavani del 2013. Entonces ahora tenemos la palabra Pragnya, que es el Lord absoluto, el alma pura, que da su energía en lo mundano. Enviando a todos sus embajadores para que lo representen, ¿no? Y es el Lord que está en cada uno de todos nosotros.
Okay. You see, so there is an energy that is very, very dominant and is continuously present within everyone that we see around us, and that energy is called. And that energy is not. It has arisen when the self and the non-self come together, and that energy of the ego that arises, that energy is called Agnya. Agnya means ignorance, energy of ignorance. Thank you, Marcella. Energy of ignorance is called Agnya, and I like to pronounce it, spell it as Agnya, not to confuse it with Agnya. So I will write it as Agnya, like just for pronunciation purposes. Agnya means like ugly. Agnya, energy of ignorance is Agnya, and energy of the awakened self, the awakened one that you and I are, is Pragnya. Simple. Two simple things, absolutely separate, you see.
Yes. Pragnya es una energía dominante y presente que está en todos, y esta es la razón. Pero cuando el ser y el no ser no vienen juntos, lo que surge es Ugnya, se escribe, que es la ignorancia. Y Pragnya es la energía absoluta del ser.
Yeah, you say so. You see, so there are two types of energies of the Ama, the soul. You and I, each one of us. There is the energy of Agnya, the energy of ignorance, that energy of Ayosodamian. The moment you say Ayosodamian or Ayoso Anila, the energy of Agnya arises. Is there, it's all there. That is what is running this world. You see, that is what is running this world. This marriage that I described to you, and that this translation that happened between Shuddha and Patricia, all of that is the energy of ignorance. Behind that is the energy of the self. The knower within Shuddha and the knower within Patricia and the knower within all of you is that energy of Pragnya. You see the knower. So the two energies.
Hay dos clases de energía. Una es Agnya, que es la energía de la ignorancia, y es creer que yo soy Damián, Anila, Patricia. Y esa es la energía que dirige el mundo. Pero detrás de eso está Pragnya, que es la energía del conocedor, de Shuddha, de Patricia, de todos.
Yeah, and the energy of this energy of, to understand this energy of ignorance, to understand and to know this energy of ignorance as it is, it cannot be understood until you come right down to the fundamentals of how this has arisen, and has arisen in the eyes of the Lord, of our Gnani Purush Dadashri, as that it is this non-self energy. It is this energy that this speaking that you see right now, Shuddha speaking, Damian listening, Laura listening, you see, the listener is listening, and I, the non-listener, I am beyond the listening. I am the knower of the listening that is happening, you see. I am the knower. I am beyond this listening and interpretation, you see, that is happening, you see.
Yes. La energía de la ignorancia es como no puede ser entendida, ¿no? Es desde el no ser, porque es la energía del complejo del no ser. Por ejemplo, Damián está escuchando, escuchamos, pero nosotros somos el que conoce al que está escuchando.
You see this, behind all activity of this world, behind all activities of this world, whether you see it in space exploration by human beings or whatever is experienced by each one of you inside each one of us, whether it is, whether we are going to the moon or whether we are trying to figure out what is going on inside us, all that energy is of the intellect. You see, it is not the real energy. It is that energy has already been created. You see, that energy has already been created within each one of us that we see around us as mind-body complexes, as human beings, you see, all over the world. And that energy is, we learned in the recent Parayan, that energy is really now Nish Chetan Chetan. Nish means no Chetan. There is no Ama, real energy in it. You see, it is Nish Chetan Chetan. That awareness is so fantastic. Nis Chetan. Nis Chetan means not real Chetan. You see, not real Chetan. You see, this is the Nish Chetan Chetan. It is not. And why do the Tirthankar lords and the finally fully awakened lords open it up? Because that is how it is. That is how it is. You see? And our entire science is of the satsang is based on knowing that which is, knowing that which is, as is. You see, this is how it is. See, this is how it is.
Toda la energía del intelecto fue creada en el complejo del cuerpo, y esto es lo que sucede en todo el mundo. Y en esto que estuvimos viendo es en el Nischetan Chetan. El Nischetan es, no es real el Chetan. Entonces, ¿por qué abrieron los Titankars todo este conocimiento? Porque así podemos ver y conocer, y se basa en este conocimiento de cómo son, de cómo es.
That which is, you see. So, you see, this is called Agna Shakti. Agna Shakti. It is the energy of ignorance is running this world, and we say, my life, I am living this life, and now I'm not happy with the way the life has passed, you see. I wish it was like this. All of this is energy of ignorance, you know. There is no correction here. There is nothing to correct. That which is. That which is. You are not, you and I are not the corrector or the improver of anything. That which is. That which is. You see?
Yes. El Agnya Shakti es todo, es en lo relativo, y en esto que las cosas me gustan como son, o me gustaría que fueran así, o esto no me hace feliz, todo eso es parte de la ignorancia. Y no hay absolutamente nada que corregir porque es como es. Y no somos los correctores de lo que es, porque lo que es.
Yeah, Pragnya Shakti, the role of Pragnya Shakti is, it tells Damyan, that which is, my dear friend, let's get out. Don't get involved in this. Yes, let's get out. No right, no wrong, correcto. Everything is correcto. No right, no wrong. There is nothing to correct. This is the highest role of Pragnya. This is the highest role of Pragnya. It tells you exactly what is, you see, and that we are explained in our dearest Dada's Vyavasthit, you see. Dada's Vyavasthit, you see. That is the final Vyavasthit.
Yes. El rol de Pragnya Shakti es que salgamos de esto de que esto está bien, esto está mal, esto es correcto, esto no es correcto. Es el más elevado rol de Pragnya, ¿no? Y es todo lo que Dada nos dio sobre Yavastit, ese conocimiento final.
Yes, there's lower levels of this awareness and the awakening. Don't get, wrong, I hurt. Oh, wrong, this is wrong, this is right, this is wrong. Pragna Shakti only lets you know who am I in all of this. It does not, and that much is enough. It just warns you from inside, who am I? Who am I? Who am I? I also am a Pura. Come, my friend. Come on, Yami. Come, Laura. Come, Anila. Let's go. Let's go home. Let's go home. Let's go home.
Okay, let's go. El nivel del Lord, ¿no? El más elevado está fuera de esto de que está más allá de que esto está bien, está mal, es correcto, no es correcto. En realidad es quién soy yo en todo esto, y yo soy alma pura. Volvamos al hogar.
We were many families landed in Burgos. So many wedding party from the bride side and our our nephew's side, his mom's side and his dad's side, and everybody came from Canada, USA, all of these people came. And so they were all divided into Airbnbs, like the bed and breakfast places, like you stay. So on the street, there's a street, a narrow street like this, a very narrow street that leads to the cathedral. All the streets in Burgos go to the cathedral. The cathedral is okay, the Lord, and the padres and old padres were sitting, inside the cathedral. It's a very beautiful cathedral, very ancient cathedral, right? Only 5-10%, of course. All the rooms around with a lot of gold, Spanish gold that has been conquered from other countries, from, where they brought that gold from, and all the gold is now, all laden in those chambers. And then below there are the padres, and the sitting, sleeping, looking up, most of them. So 90% of the tour is about all of these people. Inside, of course, the Lord is up there, only the Lord up there, and Mary, Lord and Mary, and I was thinking, they charge 12 euros for everybody, and, millions of visitors, euros, each person, 12 euros to go take a tour. And then you come out, and all the streets lead to the Lord, or to the cathedral, the grand cathedral, right? But inside the streets, the streets are beautiful, like old streets, but we were in one of that bed and breakfast places, and we had 5 rooms, one family, and one Nima's family and one family, but we were there, and so as soon as you come down in the night, and this whole city wakes up after 8 o'clock, 7 o'clock in the night, daytime everybody is quiet, But when you come down, you see an interesting scene, and I will tell you what the scene is, you see.
En Burgos, que fue la familia de la novia, vino la familia del novio que vino de Canadá, de Estados Unidos y otros lugares. Y todos estaban hospedados por Airbnb. Y estaban hospedados cerca y se veían que las calles son angostas y todas las calles en Burgos, todas confluyen hacia la catedral. Y todas las habitaciones, todas las cámaras que rodean, que están en la catedral así alrededor, son cámaras que están llenas como de estatuas o de personajes, cuadros y paredes, todo lleno de oro, todo lleno de oro. Y mucha gente iba a hacer los tours por ahí para conocer el lugar. Y el 90% de los tours se trataba sobre todo lo que había en las cámaras, ¿no? Cuando en realidad la imagen de Dios estaba arriba. Pero lo bello de esto, que estas calles angostas todas confluían en la catedral. Y bueno, en la mañana cuando se levantaban y tomaban el desayuno, que había 4 o 5 familias ahí que estaban compartiendo con Shuddha el mismo espacio, el mismo el mismo lugar donde dormían, y se levantaban y veían todo como muy tranquilos, porque son tranquilos. Y ahora va a compartir algo más.
Yeah, but you step down in the night. If you just happen to get out of, your room and go down in the street, at night there are so many people, sitting out, and tapas bars, one bar after the tapas bar, eating and drinking, just mini beers, small beers, big, just so much, human beings having fun, belonging to each other, lot of people walking, you see. And in the morning, the only thing you see is the coffee place, just drink coffee because everybody needs to wake up now, right? But
Y por ejemplo, si salís a la noche y salís y vas a caminar, ves mucha gente en la calle y están todos en los lugares estos donde se comen tapas, se sirven tapas y toman mucha cerveza. Y después a la mañana los ves que están todos levantados tomando mucho café porque lo necesitan.
Yeah. So the world, they're all reminded, guys, okay, enjoy life, but the roads are leading to me only. All roads lead to me only. No, and the final message of the Lord is, enjoy this life as you are meant to enjoy, but ultimately you'll have to come to me only, you say. Ultimately you'll have to come home only, you say.
Disfruta de la vida de la forma que te guste, pero recuerda que al final tendrás que venir a mí, volverás a mí.
Dadashri, but unfortunately, Dadashri says the problem is by believing this to be real, by believing this relative to be real, what you see is, real life, you cannot come out of it. You really cannot come out of this. No human being can get out of this activity that is going on outside, out of this very powerful Agnya Shakti, you see.
Creer que todo lo relativo es lo real es es el camino a nunca poder salir, ¿no? No saldrás nunca de esta energía de la ignorancia, Agnya Shakti.
Whereas in this Akram Vignan, in Akram Vignan, it is purely through the grace of our Lord Dada, our Dada, and through his science of separation, the science of separation, you see, and the science of separation, Yosamapura, this, there is Nischetan Chetan, there is no real life in this, you see, if one wakes up, hey, who am I? I, Yosamapura, you see. Yosamapura, then, you see, then the energy of ignorance, Agnya Shakti, now is leaving. The Agnya Shakti leaves. So even if you have a drink or two and enjoy, your tapas or whatever, and you kind of dance with the ladies or the men, ultimately, the road that is meant to take you towards the Lord begins. The road, the final journey on that San Lorenzo, you see, that goes to the Lord begins. Otherwise, in the morning you're back, you're back, you go to the Lord, and then you come back into this cycle of food, sex, life, relative life that we know, you see, that just continues.
En Akram Vignan y por la gracia de Dada y su ciencia de la separación, ¿no? Es saber, conocer que yo soy el alma pura y que todo lo que es Nichetan Chetan no es lo real. Toda la energía de la ignorancia de Ognia se irá con esta ciencia, ¿no? Entonces puedes comer tapas, puedes bailar, pero el camino final
Is
es volver al Lord.
It is not the fault. It is not we now able to see Pragnya. Our representative of the Lord is now the Lord. It's like as if the Lord is in the center of the cathedral, however you want to call him, and he is not a visible one, has sent out a representative to lift you up and say, okay, all right, enjoy, finish, enjoy. But Remember, you're not the one who is enjoying, so you're not the enjoyer, nor are you the sufferer of this that is happening in the street below. You are now with me. I have lifted you up, just like the Lord within Jesus lifted him up, resurrected him in the same way you and I have been resurrected by our Gnani Purush Dadashri, the mood, the original lords.
Wow. Como el lord del centro de la catedral que estaba describiendo Shuddha en Burgos, envió un montón de embajadores y dice, no como tú no eres, y con este mensaje, yo no soy el que disfruta, yo no soy el que sufre, yo te elevé, ¿no? Dice, esta es la palabra de Dada. Y lo mismo es que Dios, el Dios original, como resucitó a Jesús, Dada también nos resucitó a nosotros.
Yeah. And he is beautifully depicted, he is beautifully shown high up in the cathedral, highest place up there, in the scenes of the resurrection as the all merciful one, beautiful to the best way, no longer suffering in the crucifixion. You see, it's just looking at all of us from the heavens, you see, from high up there. And this is how high human beings have tried to place him as much, through all those efforts. If you think of how that cathedral was built in 1200, without any machinery, it's unfathomable. It's how did they do it? How did human beings do it? So there was this energy within them to really just kind of reach out to the Lord, you see. But the exact hand that lifts you up, the exact grip that lifts you up, happens to the one who is graced, See? That he does not let you slip, so you fall back into this ocean of the world, the Agnya Shakti, the energy of ignorance, you see. The energy of ignorance now has lost its power on each one of us. Gabi, Laura, Evangelina, Paulina, that energy of ignorance has only a weak grip on us, it's not a solid connection. The chain has been broken, you see. Mm-hmm.
Yes. En la catedral está maravillosamente elevada la figura de Jesús, sin sufrimiento en la cruz y lleno de piedad y de compasión. Y nos mira desde lo más elevado. Lo que llama tanto la atención es que esta catedral fue construida en el año 1200 y es cómo pudieron hacer para poder colocarlo tan elevado, ¿no? Y la energía que había en ellos para poder alcanzar y elevar la figura y colocarlo en este lugar tan elevado. Asimismo, es lo que nos sucedió a nosotros, ¿no? Que es que por la gracia también fuimos elevados. Y el Agnya, la ignorancia, se perdió poder en Gaby, Evangelina, en todos. Entonces, ya no es más una conexión sólida porque se cortó las cadenas.
In Akram Vignan, you see, it is in the science that is of the liberated self. Akram Vignan is the science of the liberated self. It is, each one of you walking around in Argentina or Chile or wherever you are in Spain, that science of you, the liberated one, has begun, you see, and it is a very extra energy that has arisen within each one of us. That energy is not. That energy could not open because of this belief, because of this belief that I am Yaya, I am Devdasi, you see, I am Korea, I am Arman. That energy could not open up, it could not be broken, you see, could not be broken, and just imagine how magnificently, how beautifully, how easily, with what ease our Dada in his Gnanvidhi has done this for us, you see, it's just, no amount of alcohol, no amount of all of that beer in the San Carle Lorenzo or in the streets of our life, our relative life can now cloud that, nothing can cloud our awareness and our awakening, you see. That awakening is Bhan, Bhan Dada uses the word, you came across that word in the Parayan recently, you see, Bhan, you see. It's just like the effect of the alcohol of this life is gone, you see. It is not the wine of this life, you see. We are now, in the Sufi poetry, they call it now the wine, the true taste of the wine of the Lord has been tasted, you see. The wine of the Lord, in the church they also give you the little bit of that wine, you see. The wine of the Lord, not the wine of this relative life, you see.
Yes. Imagina lo maravilloso, lo divino de Dada que hace por nosotros en el Nanbidi, ¿no? Y como que ya vivimos esta vida sin alcohol, ¿no? En esta vida relativa. Y nada puede nublar nuestra conciencia. El efecto del alcohol en la vida se fue. Y como dice una poesía sufí, hemos probado el vino del Lord ha sido probado. No el vino de lo relativo, el vino del Lord ha sido probado.
You see, now this is the beauty of it. What is the role? Not only it takes care of the role and the work of both the relative and the real. That is the beauty, you see. In other words, this is this Pragnya Shakti that takes care of. You don't have to worry about, what will I have to do with about Gabi? What does Gabi have to do? You see, won't I have to take care of Gabi? Forget about it. Now the direct light, the direct representative of the king has come, you see. You don't have to listen to the mayor of the town and the head of the police and everything. Now the direct representation, tentative of the king has come. You see, he takes care of everything. the Pragnya Shakti takes care of both the relative and the real, you see. Therefore, and that is why you do not have to do anything.
Lo maravilloso de esto, ¿no? De Pragnya Shakti es que cuida el rol y el trabajo, ¿no? que hace es sobre lo relativo y también sobre lo real. Pragnya Shakti es la luz directa eh, que, que, que se hace cargo de esto. Y es como ha llegado el rey que se hace cargo de todo.
And the Pragna Shakti is what shows you the fault of, shows you and I our faults, of fault of Shuddha, fault of Gabi, fault of Laura, It just shows the fault. It doesn't say wrong or right. It just shows you the fault. This is very subtle. Let's try to think about it a little. It just shows you the fault.
Pragna Shakti muestra la falta de ayuda, de Laura, la falta de todos. Esto es muy sutil, solo muestra la falta.
Yeah, what is a fault? Then the fault is that which takes you into the relative. It says this is relative, you see, and it says this is relative. If you can just, Pragna tells Laura, this is relative, and it's over. And it says, Pragna says, Anila, this is relative. It's over. It's finished. You see, by just saying, by letting you see that this is relative, it's over. It's over. Means you're already in Agnas. You're already in Agnas, you see.
Esto está, ¿qué es lo que falta, no? ¿Qué es lo que te lleva a lo relativo? Entonces Pragnya te muestra qué es lo relativo. Te dice Laura, esto es relativo, Wanila, esto es relativo. Y cuando Pragnya te muestra que es relativo, entonces esto se termina. Se termina y nosotros tenemos las 5 agnas.
You see, so in other words, you see this, whenever there are any disputes, whenever there are disputes, people are fighting in our relative life, the two brothers are fighting, the father is now dead, two brothers are fighting, but the father has given the power of attorney to someone. The power of attorney in his will, he's given you are the power of attorney now, I'm giving you the power of my power. And that, the power of attorney now kind of shows to both of them that what was the real message, what was the original message of your dad, not what he said and what you're saying. This is the power of attorney. You can see the seal, stop fighting, you boys, your dad wrote this and it has been confirmed and this is how it is, you see.
Por ejemplo, cuando hay disputas, por ejemplo, dos hermanos se pelean, el padre puede mostrar, ¿no? El mensaje, que es lo que esto es así, como tiene el poder de mostrar, de aclarar y mostrar el verdadero mensaje de cómo son las cosas.
You see, like is in the Gnan, in now, for all of us, it is, you say, for all of us who have separated, we have this body complex that is known as Laura or as Patricia, and then we have this awakened one within each one of us, you see, who is listening to this satsang and who is absorbing all of these words of Dada, and who is receiving all of this satsang, and this is purely through the energy of the Pragnya that is now working within us, you see. And this Pragnya, that is who you and I really are now, you see. Pragnya is that, you and I are now becoming, we have been given this power of this attorney, this representation, you see, you and I have to really kind of finish our work because we have been sent out as a representative, to finish the rest of the files, and in this worldly interaction, you really feel like doing something, finish it, do it, all right? You really feel like eating something, finish it. You really feel like buying something, finish it, finish all these roles, you see. And then it is this Pragnya, this representative goes back to the Lord, you see. It's a representative who will now go back to the Lord and say, Lord, I went out to do the work. Your Lord, my King, oh my Lord, I went out, you said, I went out to do the work. The work is finished. Now I am home with you. Now I'm home with you. You see? So that is the final moksha. You see, that is the final moksha. Mm-hmm.
Yes. Ahora es que estamos todos separados, todos, y tenemos la conciencia y estamos en satsang recibiendo todo en este satsang, toda la energía de Pragnya que está trabajando dentro de nosotros. Y con esto que hemos recibido, también hemos recibido el poder del abogado para representar y terminar el resto de nuestros archivos. Entonces, si tienes que comer algo, lo comes y termina con ese rol y termina con todos los roles, ¿no? El Pragnya es como que te representa y salís, haces tu trabajo y ahora le dices a Dios, a tu ser, que saliste, hiciste el trabajo y ahora estoy contigo en el hogar. Y esto es moksha, el final, esto es moksha final.
Yeah, you see. Now, if it lets you see it all as it is, it lets you see, it lets you know who you are, it lifts you up from what you are. There's a difference between what I am versus who am I, you see.
Please repeat that, but because
Pragnya lifts you up from what you are into who you are. What you are is, oh, I am a Gnani, or I know I am this and I am that, you see. What you are is, like in Satsang, you are a Mahatma, or, you think you know something, it lifts you up from what you are into who you are. It lifts you up, it lifts me up, Pragnya lifts me up from what I am into who I am, and really who I am In the relative, I am zero in the relative, and therefore I am everything in the real, you see.
Yes. Ahora que es como que fuimos elevados, podemos, Pragnya nos permite diferenciar qué somos sobre quién soy yo, ¿no? De lo relativo te lleva a lo real. En lo relativo cero somos y en lo real somos todo.
You see, what I am is our discharging file, you see, what I am. You know,
Lo que soy es la descarga de mi archivo.
yeah, you know, in front of my daughters, I'm still a father. In front of my Satsangi friends, I am a Satsangi, I'm Shuddha, you know. But so this is what I am, you know. Yesterday, you know, I was a passenger in London, you know, you see, you know. And who I am is always, you see, who I am is what Pragnya tells me. Pragnya keeps me in who I am, you see, and allows me. Pragnya is the energy that allows me to remove all my hooks from the relative, you know, wherever in the relative these hooks have been stuck, you see, it unentangles me so that I can lift myself up, you know, out of this world, you see.
Yes. El qué soy yo es la descarga del archivo, ¿no? Por ejemplo, frente a mi hijo soy padre, en Satsang soy el que guía, en Londres será el pasajero, y en el quién soy yo, siempre Pragnya me mantiene y me permite, me mantiene en quién soy yo y me permite remover todos como los ganchos donde estoy agarrado a lo relativo y me permite deshacer todos los nudos de lo relativo, de este mundo relativo, de esta vida relativa.
Yes, our dear Anila Marcella has asked a question. So yes, Marcella.
Marcela.
Hola, Marcella.
She said today that she has an unstable internet.
Oh, I see. That's all right. That's okay. She has
I don't
asked.
know.
Okay. All right. Because
Maybe.
yeah, right. That's all right. There she is. Yeah. No, internet is good. We can see you, Marcela. We see you.
Sí, hola.
Yeah.
Sabes que la pregunta es si para todos tienen la misma fuerza este pragnia o las personas tienen fuerza de pragnia distinta según su trabajo espiritual o según el niyati en que se encuentra, o este pragnia tiene la misma fuerza para todos. Esa es la pregunta.
Marcela wants to ask, is asking if the energy of Pragnya is the same for everyone, or it's different because different levels of conscience or whatever.
Good question. You see, the thing is that energy was completely dormant. You see, in other words, it is there as unexpressed energy within every soul. You see, it's completely covered. You see, you know, and it is actually in a limited way in human beings. It is expressing indirectly through the intellect only. You see, but The direct energy, directly beyond, without the help of the ego, you see, it can only happen after this self-realization. When the self is realized and when the who am I awareness kicks in, you see, either through the step-by-step path or in our Akram Vignan Vidhi, it happens, and the experience of the self arises, and that experience of the self is the energy of Pragnya. You see, the experience of the self is the energy of Pragnya. You see, now the experience of the intellect is with all human beings, you see. But the experience of the self can only arise when the ignorance, the fundamental ignorance, who am I? You see, the fundamental wrong belief is broken. Are you really John? Are you really Mary? You see, Mary is going to be buried or burned. You see, who are you? And it doesn't connect with human beings. Shuddha went to London, met so many people. Tried. I was saying, I'm here for such a long time. How do I? In every, in all conversations, I would try to kind of slowly, for those, try to judge, is this human being ready to receive anything, so, this is, a human being has to be ready for this, It is only when a human being gets awakened, has the experience of the Amapura, that the pragnya arises, you see. When the ignorance, the fundamental shell of ignorance, the blunder, I am this body, this is happening to me, I am doing this. When, until that gets shattered, and it is, are you really doing it, or is it happening? Human beings cannot grab that. So only
Yes.
when that happens, that pragnya begins, you see.
Em, La energía, primero dijo que es una muy buena pregunta, Marcela, y la energía es como que está cubierta, la energía del alma es como que está cubierta. En la forma, la energía del intelecto, el pragnia del intelecto es diferente en cada persona. Pero sin ego, sin intelecto, solo sucede luego que descubres quién realmente eres. Y entonces sucede. Puede ser en el camino de paso a paso o en el camino del Akram. Y es la experiencia del ser, es Pragnya, la que sucede cuando surge la creencia de que, la que te lleva a tener la experiencia de que no eres John, no eres Mary, y que esto está sucediendo. Y para la experiencia del ser tienes que estar lista, porque cuando estás listo, entonces, y se rompe la caparazón o la cobertura, entonces Pragnya surge. Y cuando surge, te das cuenta que no haces, sucede.
Yes, this, it's, and Dadashri has said many times that pragnya is a fraction of absolute knowledge, keval gnan. In other words, it is really that has absolute knowledge has begun within each one of us at 2%, you see. So in the Gnani Vidhi, pragnya begins at 2%. the experience, you see, and it increases with vaivagnas. See, with the energy, yes, the more, but you see, the 2% experience cannot be taken away, and the conviction that eo soyamapura conviction is 100% soyamapura, but that 100% conviction is based on the 2% absolute knowledge that was entered into in the Gnani Vidhi, you see. Otherwise, there was only Agnya Shakti, knowledge of ignorance coming through intellect. I know, I studied this, I already know, I know what the Lord has said, you know, I know what the Lord has said, I know what the Gita says, I know. But I know is intellect saying that, in the light of the intellect. Pragnya is the experience of the Amapura, of the absolute knowledge. You see, the 2% absolute knowledge is absolute knowledge. It cannot, once that is entered, then now that light begins. It's the direct light of the experience of Euso Amapura that allows you to settle files with equanimity. You know, even your worst enemy is forgiven. Your worst enemy is forgiven. You say, okay, I also Amapura. He too is Amapura. This is relative. It's relative.
Yes. Dada dijo mucho, ¿no? Que Pragnya es una fracción de Kevalgnan, y eso es el absoluto conocimiento que comenzó con un 2% de experiencia en todos nosotros y crece con las 5 almas. Ese 2% que hemos recibido de conocimiento, de conocimiento, no puede ser removido de ninguna manera. Y la convicción del 1% de que soy alma pura se sostiene a partir del Nanvidi en este 2% de conocimiento. Y decir, yo sé esto, yo sé leer, yo sé, todo esto tiene que ver con el intelecto. Pero la experiencia del alma pura es el absoluto conocimiento que comenzó con un 2%. Y una vez que entró, es la luz directa del alma pura que nos permite poder resolver todos nuestros archivos con ecuanimidad, y hasta el peor enemigo es perdonado. Y poder ver que todo esto es absolutamente relativo. Todo lo que sucede es relativo.
Mm-hmm. You see this, Dadashri also said that this Vignan, this science that is the self, Vignan means the science that is the self, the science that I am, not this physical science. I have to find the physical phenomena outside, but this science, this entire science of the cosmos, you know, and this science of the I, the original I, you see, is what is he has seen this through Pragnya Shakti. This is it. In Dada, the Pragnya Shakti became completely manifest, you see. You know, completely manifest it in full force, you see, full force in 1958, full force, you know, full force. In fact, 356 degrees full force, only 4 degrees left. And for us, it shifted from 280, when we were below 300, it lifted us up to 300. You see, 300, all of us in the Gnani Vidhi, you see. After we wake up, oh Soma, just lifted us up. He lifted every participant of this Gnani Vidhi just like this, without any effort of their own, or those guys, those people, regardless of whether they were Portuguese, Brazilians, Germans, Indians, wherever, lifted them up into 300 degrees, you see, and give them the awareness, the bhan of who I am, and also tell them that as far as what you are, settle with equanimity. What you are, settle with equanimity. You are a man, settle with equanimity. You are a woman, settle with equanimity. You are just settle. You are no longer a man nor a woman. You are the force of Pragnya Shakti. Now that is going, the representative has arisen. The representative of the Lord has arisen to lift you up into the realm of the eternal. And the Lord of all religions have talked about the eternal, but nobody could experience the eternal. And you and I, my friends, are experiencing the eternal. See? You're experiencing the eternal moment by moment by moment inside.
Wow. Dada dice que esta ciencia del ser, el ser que yo soy, no el físico. Esta ciencia es la ciencia entera del cosmos. Esta ciencia del ser original es lo que vimos en Pragnya Shakti, que fue manifestada, totalmente manifestada en 1958 y alcanzó los 356 grados. Y a nosotros nos elevó desde el grado donde estuviéramos a 300 y nos dio la conciencia sin esfuerzo alguno y el conocimiento de quién soy yo. Ya no es más qué soy yo, eso resuélvelo con ecuanimidad. Ya no somos más un hombre o ya no somos más una mujer. Somos Pragnya Shakti, representantes del Lord. Y todos estamos en la experiencia de lo eterno en cada momento.
Yeah, Dadashri has gone on to say that for your knowledge, whatever you have known through the intellect, whatever each one of us has known through the intellect, Damian has known through his intellect in his engineering scientific field, or Shuddha through his neurology, and whatever you and I have known through our intellect, it is of use for our world, the interaction. But for us, for liberation, our knowledge will have to become perfectly pure. Pure means not coming through the intellect. Pure means not coming through the intellect. Intellect knowledge is not needed for liberation. Pragnya knowledge, Pragnya, that is the light of Pragnya that will be needed, you see.
Yes. Todo lo que nosotros hemos aprendido con el intelecto, lo usamos para las interacciones de la vida mundana en lo relativo, pero ahora todo eso tiene que ser purificado, tiene que ser sin intelecto. El intelecto no es necesario para el ser. Es Pragnya, Shakti, quien se va a hacer cargo.
You see, and he then says that when finally you're in your knowledge, that the same knowledge that you and I have, that you and I have been operating through this intellect. You see, our intellect, your intellect, everyone's intellect right now, that in this satsang is being used for the highest purpose. The highest purpose, Patricia is using it, Shuddha is using it, all of us are using it. You see, but even when our knowledge becomes completely free of intellect, completely free of intellect, then it will become Vignan, it will become science, Then the science will be in operation. The science will be in operation, It will be like Dada, the Gnani Purush, completely separated from this body, and yet the work continues. Also for Niruma later on, our Gnani also, so I like all of this, the intellect is working at only the inner antakaran level only, the built-in intellect is doing things, automatically, and the world carries on. The world carries on completely separate, beautifully. The two wings of the flight are operating perfectly for preparation.
También dijo Dada, ¿no? Que cuando él, por ejemplo, ahora nosotros estamos usando el intelecto, ¿no? Pero lo estamos usando en este momento de satsang para el más puro fin. Y cuando el conocimiento se libera del intelecto, entonces te volverás la ciencia. Y la ciencia estará operando, liberados completamente, como Dada, como Niruma, completamente separados de este mundo. Y poder estar sin apego, sin aversión, libres.
Yes, this Pragnya, the force of Pragnya increases every time you settle a file with equanimity. It is the Pragnya force, it is the representative of the Lord that is telling you, hey, stop fighting, what's the big deal? Let go, it's not yours. Let go. Lifts you up. He has come. He's going all over Burgos, trying to tell you, come on, settle files, the Lord is in there, inside. I am the living representative of the Lord. The Lord in the church or the Lord in a temple is meant for all these other people, but for you, I am the Lord inside you. I am the Lord. I am the Lord who is awakened now. I am the final Lord. There is no one above up there.
En este Pragnya que va creciendo a medida que vamos resolviendo los archivos con ecuanimidad. Y es el Lord que te dice, hey, ¿para qué peleas? Y yo soy la vida que representa, soy la viva representación del Lord. En la iglesia te muestran que el Lord está ahí afuera y que alabanzas y todo eso, pero yo soy el Lord final y no hay nadie sobre ti. Tú eres el Lord final y nada está sobre ti.
Yes, this amazing energies, you see, amazing energies. This question of that energy is the same energy within each and every human being. And life after life, even without the Gnan Vidhi, there is this inner intuitive knowledge that is extra beyond the intellect. This is called Suj. You see, it is called Suj, which can move in two directions, but it really kind of lets you escape from problems in life. It doesn't let you go in the wrong direction, you see, and allows you to settle your relative problems with ease, you see, Suj, but the Gnani totally, absolutely opens it up in the form of the direct light, which is in which the adjustment becomes very easy, you see. Suj, S-O-O-J, or Suj is that intuitive light beyond the intellect which is there within many human beings, you see, and even those who do not have the Gnan Vidhi, but that is what they have carried life after life after life, you see. But
Yes.
This thing is special. This Pragnya is very special.
Yes. Y siguiendo con la pregunta de Marcela, ¿no? Como que hay grandes energías. Esas energías son iguales en todos los seres humanos. Y vida tras vida, esa energía detrás del intelecto, más allá de haber tomado el Lanvidi, que se llama Sush, es una luz intuitiva que te ayuda en la vida. Y vida tras vida, ¿no? Es
Yeah, it's like it's like the plumbers, or the plumber or the mechanic, there are some people, who, if you're in a highway and your car is in trouble, somebody knows exactly what to do. He opens up the car and he knows what to do, and you can go through an engineering school and learn about all the motor mechanics, and of course you still don't know that, you see. So that Suj is that just allows you to accomplish something with ease, you see, with ease, you see.
Esto, por ejemplo, como los plomeros, ¿no? Un plomero, un mecánico, una cosa por el estilo. Se te descompone el auto, ellos levantan la tapa y inmediatamente saben qué es lo que tienen que hacer. Y de repente hay ingenieros que levantan la tapa y no tienen ni idea sobre qué es lo que tienen que hacer. Y esto es sush.
So there's a lot more, my friends. I just gave you a kind of a summary of this October.
Hay un montón más de esto, pero vamos a tener que...
Yeah, the point is to understand, it's in anything that we learn about in detail. See, the important thing is, Dada has simplified it very simply through the agnas, and he just tells you, it's real and the relative, and when you, when you really when the prajna is in operation, your life becomes very easy. You see, when you're applying the agnas, your life becomes very easy. When you miss the agnas, the prajna, light of the prajna is not being used. The intellect has come in. And you say, "Why did you do this? You should have done this. You don't know how to do this. You see, you're wrong." It makes you slip the agna of the avasthit. You see, so you see, prajna is a magnificent employer of the five agnas. You see, the five agnas kick in beautifully when prajna is working. You see.
Lo más importante de todo esto son las 5 agnas que te muestran lo real, lo relativo, y cuando Pragnya, cuando estás en Pragnya te vuelve la vida muy fácil, y si no estás con las 5 agnas es como que Pragnya desaparece. Y ahí es como que te resbalas y empezás a tener problemas con todo.
You see, the chit, our chit cannot see prajna, but prajna can see chit and everything. You see, our chit, which is our, human beings' chit, not our chit is now become absolutely pure. Amapura, pure chit is Amapura, right? So, but the relative chit, like you and I are familiar with the relative chit. You're sitting here and you see a nice cafe and a nice chocolate cake. You see. Now the relative, but the chit cannot see prajna. Prajna can see the chit. You see?
Pragnya puede ver el chit, pero el chit no puede ver Pragnya. ¿Qué es el chit? Por ahí no estamos sentados acá y estamos imaginándonos o viendo una taza de café, una rica torta de chocolate. Cuando el chit se vuelve puro, ese es el alma pura.
You and I can see prajna, and you and I can see chit. You and I see. Now this Dada is using the word see. To see prajna means, to see prajna means you are seeing prajna in operation means you're seeing the relative and the real. You're seeing Amapura and you're seeing real. You're seeing, you're accepting vyavasthit, you see. That's the role of prajna. Prajna lets you see it as it is, you see. Prajna knows much more than what chit can know, you see.
Yes. Ver pragnya es poder ver lo real, poder ver el alma pura, poder ver lo relativo. Y pragnya también es aceptar yavastit. Y pragnya es ver las cosas tal cual son. Y saben, y pragnya sabe más que el chit.
See, the chit will make you see a woman, whereas prajna shakti will let you see the Gnani Purush, or what the Gnani sees. You see, prajna shakti will let you see the ama. You see, if the Gnani Purush has told you, now, afterwards, who are you now? You'll say, Amapura. So from now, you're going to see the relative and the real. You're going to speak the language of the Lord. You're going to speak the language of the Lord, you see. This is an amazing sentence that Dada is using when he's giving the agnas, you see. Up until now, you are using the language of the world. Now start using the language of the Lord. And you say, what? What language of the Lord? You see?
Entonces, el chit, por ejemplo, ve una mujer. Pragnya, no ve una mujer, ve como ve un alma, ve el Gnani, ve como ve el Gnani. Entonces, dice que veas lo real, que veas lo relativo y que hablarás el lenguaje del Lord y no del mundo. ¿Y cuál es el lenguaje del Lord?
You see, it's Agna Shakti, the energy of ignorance, will make you do the nidhi dhyasan of women, sex, money, things like that. Your nidhi dhyasan, your chit goes there. Whereas Agna Shakti, the Pragnya Shakti, makes you do the nidhi dhyasan of the Gnani Purush, or otherwise known as Amapura. Also, Amapura is the final nididhyasana. So, Amapura. You see?
Yes. Entonces, por ejemplo, el Lugnia, que es de la ignorancia, te hace ver, vas a tener, la visión que vas a tener va a ser de las mujeres, del sexo, del dinero, de la comida. Y Pragnya, Nididhyasan de Pragnya es, yo soy alma pura, todos somos alma pura.
You see, Pragna Shakti has no function because it's a direct light. It just automatically allows you to see and do pure nididhyasana. Pragna Shakti is the darshan in operation. In other words, who am I? I also am Amapura, and the Amapura light kicks in. You see, that's the Amapura light kicking in. Also Amapura, so you too are the Amapura. I am the pure soul, and you all are the pure soul too. You see. And I'm pure soul, you're the pure soul. You see, that nididhyasan. It's called, that is the final nididhyasan. That is the final nididhyasan. I'm pure soul, you're pure soul. When I saw Niruma for the last time, the look she gave me was that I'm pure soul, you are pure soul. Final nididhyasan. You see. You all have seen the Niruma lying down with an oxygen in her nose, she gave me, there was the last photograph I took of her. She's just giving me this unpure soul. It's a final nididhyasana. There's nothing to say.
Pragnya es la luz directa que te permite tener la visión nididhyasan puro del darshan. Y finalmente es, yo soy alma pura y tú también eres alma pura. Ese es el nididhyasan final. Y la última vez que estuvo Shuddha con Niruma, y habrán visto todos la foto que tenía los tubitos de oxígeno, y Shuddha le saca una foto y le dice, yo soy alma pura.
All right.
Y no hay nada más que decir.
Yeah, so Vishuddhatma Bhagavan, like if you want to take a break, we can take a break. I know I joined you all late, so I don't want to take too much of your time. I have time, but it's up to you. If you want to finish the 2 hours, 15 minutes, you have any questions, we can do that, or I think you've spent enough time, whatever, Vishuddhatma,
Vamos a hacer un recreo y seguimos unos 15 minutos más si todos están de acuerdo.
All right, it's up to you. So if you want to say so, we want to say Vishuddhatma Bhagavan. Pragna is a beautiful topic. If we just begin, let us have one person sing the Trimatra. Laura, I'm so sorry I came to Madrid and I missed, but it was airport to Burgos and Burgos to airport. So I'm so sorry I missed you, but you're with me, and I also promised Graham to meet. To hopefully meet in London, and we couldn't make it. London is such a huge city, and so we didn't work out. So this is how it is. pure souls, So let me, is it all okay now? You want to see the Cathedral Burgos photo, or shall we say bye-bye? Jai Sachidanand.
¿Quieren ver las fotos de la catedral o decimos Jai Sachidanand?
All right. Okay. All right. Yeah. You've seen, I'm sure Yaya has seen the cathedral in Burgos. There are so many cathedrals, beautiful in Spain, and, everywhere, cathedral. But now, I will leave with you one final thing, which is kind of interesting. It's a line of a poet called Ghalib. Ghalib is a very famous Sufi poet, you see. A very famous Urdu, Urdu poetry. He has read very famous Urdu poetry.
Hay un poeta famoso, sufí, muy famoso, Ghalib Urdu.
And in the streets of San Lorenzo leading up to the cathedral reminded me of that. And he says, "Kahan mein khana aur kahan," he says very. And I won't tell you the Urdu because I'm only partially familiar with Urdu. But he says the lines simply say that they all say that there is a road that leads to the church, and there is a road that leads to the wine place, you see,
Hay una frase simple que dice que dice, hay un camino que va a la iglesia y hay otro camino que te conduce a los lugares para tomar vino.
So there is a Lord, there's a Lord, the place that goes to the bar, and there's another road that shows the mosque, you see, and I see these two roads, and of course, Ghalib, he loves the drinking places, so he says, but all I know is that when I was leaving the bar, when I was leaving the drinking place, I saw the man who used to preach in the mosque saying, "Thou shalt not drink." I saw him entering the bar, you see.
Y bueno, en estas calles de San Lorenzo había unas líneas de este poeta que decían, hay un camino que va a la mezquita y otro camino que va al bar a donde podés tomar vino. Y yo cuando salía del bar de tomar vino, vi al que en la mezquita decía no hay que tomar vino, salir del bar.
So I've seen all these preachers who preach so much enter the house of sin again, the house of sin again, or whatever. This. So he says, what is the difference? One person preaches, the other person does it. What's the difference? See?
Entonces he visto tantos predicadores que decían que no había que tomar vino. Dice, y en definitiva, ¿cuál es la diferencia? ¿Para qué es todo esto, no? ¿Cuál es la diferencia?
So, my friends, what I am, 5 agnas, is resolved with 5 agnas, and who I am is who I am. See? Amapura.
Entonces, ¿qué es lo que hay? 5 agnas y soy alma pura, nada más.
Thank you so much. Highest namaskars to all of you.
Thank you.
And I'm sure you've all done the 3 mantra before you left here, before I came, so that's fine. Okay, all right.
Yes.
Jai Sachidanand.
Jai Sachidanand.
Jai Sachidanand, Maritza, Yaya, Luz, Laura, Anila, Arman, Devdasi, Paulina, and
Jai Sachidanand.
Jai Sachidanand.
Thank you, Sudha.
Jai Sachidanand. See you on Saturday. We'll work it out. Okay? I see you. Bye-bye.
Okay. See you. Jai Sachidanand.
Jai